Have you ever walked by an ancient stone building and marveled at how it still stands after centuries? From the pyramids of Egypt to your own kitchen countertops, the materials we build with tell a fascinating story. It's a journey that begins deep in the earth with natural stone, then moves to human-crafted materials like bricks, tiles, and advanced ceramics. In this engaging tour, we'll explore how stone is formed and classified, how modern stone products are reinventing what nature gives us, the art and science of ceramics, the humble strength of bricks and tiles, the innovation of calcium silicate bricks, and the wonders of specialized ceramic materials that can even venture into space. Along the way, we'll use real-world examples and analogies to make these concepts tangible. So, let's dig in, quite literally, starting with stone in the ground and ending with ceramics in the stars. Stone formation and classification. Imagine the ground beneath your feet as a grand kitchen of geology, cooking up different kinds of stone over millions of years. The recipe depends on heat, pressure, and ingredients. Geologists classify rocks, the stones we build with, by how they formed. One major category is igneous rock, born from fiery magma or lava. If magma bursts out of a volcano and cools quickly in the open air, it forms extrusive igneous rock, like basalt, with crystals so small you'd need a microscope to see them. But if magma cools slowly, buried deep underground, it forms intrusive igneous rock, with time to grow large, glittering crystals. Granite, the speckled stone often used for shiny countertops, is one such intrusive igneous rock. In fact, granite is known as the hardest common building stone, prized for its strength and beauty. Not all stone is forged in fire, some is born in water. Sedimentary rock forms from layers of sand, mud, or the shells of marine creatures that settle in oceans and lakes. Over ages, these layers are pressed together like a giant stacked cake and harden into stone. Sandstone, which feels gritty to the touch, is literally compressed sand. Limestone, another sedimentary rock, often contains fossils and is largely made of calcium carbonate, the same compound in common antacid tablets. In fact, limestone was used to build the Great Pyramids, which might make you wonder, could the secret to ancient monuments' longevity lie in these rock layers formed eons ago? The third category, metamorphic rock, is the real shapeshifter, quite like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. Metamorphic stones begin as either igneous or sedimentary, but then Earth's forces of heat and pressure transform them into something new. The minerals reorganize, new crystals grow, and sometimes you even get stripes or swirls as evidence of the change. A great example is marble. Marble started out as limestone, but after being buried and cooked underground, it emerged with a whole new crystalline structure and elegant veins of color. That's why marble can be polished to a mirror-like shine. It's essentially limestone that has been recrystallized into a harder, denser form. Another example is slate, which began as soft clay or shale and metamorphosed into a fine-grained stone that splits into flat sheets. Those sheets of slate made for perfect roofing tiles in many old homes, thanks to a natural layered structure called foliation. Beyond formation, geologists also classify stone by its makeup. Some stones are rich in calcite, calcium carbonate. These are called calcareous stones. Think limestone, marble, and travertine. Others are mostly silica, silicate rocks, high in quartz and sand. Why does this matter? Because the chemistry determines how the stone behaves. For instance, calcite-based stones like marble will fizz gently if you put a drop of acid on them. Don't try this on your marble floor. While silicate stones like granite won't react. A handy tip for stone cleaners and conservators. The composition also affects durability. Granite's high silica content contributes to its toughness, whereas a calcareous stone might be a bit softer. But regardless of type, all these stones have proven their worth in construction. Have you ever noticed how different the stones in buildings look? The sparkly crystals in a granite countertop, the ribbon-like veins in a marble statue, or the sandy texture of an old sandstone wall. Each tells a story of its geological birth. These natural wonders set the stage for the next part of our story, how we've taken inspiration from stone to create modern materials. While ancient builders had to work with whatever stone they could quarry from the earth, today we have modern stone products that blend nature's beauty with human ingenuity. If natural stone is like solid gold from the earth, think of modern engineered stone as a kind of 21st century alchemy. We take crushed rock, mix it with some secret sauce, well, resins and pigments, and create a stone-like slab that's often stronger and more versatile than the original. A great example is engineered quartz countertops. These aren't cut from a quartz quarry. They're made in a factory by combining about 90% ground natural quartz with 10% resins and pigments. The result is a hard, non-porous surface that mimics the look of granite or marble without some of natural stone's downsides. Have you ever spilled grape juice on a white marble counter? If so, you know natural stone can stain. Engineered quartz, by contrast, resists staining and doesn't need sealing, making it a popular choice in kitchens. It's as if we took the toughness of granite and gave it a modern upgrade, a bit of science to perfect what nature provided. Another modern twist is manufactured stone veneer. Think of this as a stone costume for walls. Instead of stacking heavy blocks of sandstone or granite, builders can attach thin slices or cast pieces of artificial stone to a wall's surface. These veneers are often made from concrete or composite materials poured into molds that give them the texture of real rock. The result? A house facade that looks like it's made of solid stone, but without needing the entire wall to be stone. It's lighter, cheaper, and easier to replace. This is common in contemporary architecture. You might have walked by a city building with a sleek stone exterior that's actually a clever facade. Modern stone products also focus on sustainability and performance. There are eco-friendly stone composites now that use recycled materials and aim for a lower carbon footprint. For example, some countertops incorporate recycled glass or fly ash, a byproduct from power plants, mixed with resins to create a terrazzo-like stone surface, turning waste into beauty. And in outdoor design, ultra-thin stone panels are used, where a sliver of natural stone is bonded to a lightweight backing. This saves on stone resource use while maintaining the authentic surface texture. In summary, we've learned how to grow stone in the earth, and now how to make stone in the lab. Both have their place. The next time you run your hand along a polished countertop or a stone-clad building, consider this. You might be touching something born in a volcano or something engineered in a factory. Either way, it's the incredible material properties of stone, natural strength, durability, and beauty that we're harnessing. But stone isn't the only star of construction. Humans long ago discovered another way to build, not by digging rock out of the ground, but by transforming softer earth materials into stone-like solids. Enter the world of ceramics. Ceramics may sound like fancy vases and china dishes, but at its heart, ceramics simply means taking earthy stuff, like clay, shaping it, and firing it at high heat until it becomes rock hard. It's essentially the art of turning mud into stone, and it's something people have been doing for thousands of years. In fact, the earliest ceramics made by humans were not decorative pots. They were fired clay bricks used to build houses and walls. Imagine those first builders realizing that the mud bricks they left near the fire became harder and more water-resistant, a true light bulb moment in prehistory. Have you ever handled a clay pot that's been baked hard? That sturdiness is the same principle that holds up brick buildings today. By definition, ceramics are inorganic, non-metallic materials hardened by heat. When we fire clay in a kiln, we drive out water and cause chemical changes that lock the structure in place, rather like melting and solidifying to form a new substance. The result is a material that's hard, brittle, heat-resistant, and long-lasting. Think of a porcelain cup. You can fill it with boiling tea, heat-resistant. But if you drop it, it can shatter, brittle. Both bricks and fine china share those traits. They're cousins in the ceramic family. Over time, we've developed various types of ceramics. Earthenware is fired at relatively low temperatures. It's sturdy but porous, like terracotta garden pots. Stoneware is fired hotter, making it non-porous and good for dinner plates and crocks. And porcelain is fired at very high temperatures with special clays, resulting in that delicate, white, glass-like finish prized for figurines and high-end teacups. Interestingly, Porcelain was once so valued that it was called white gold by European traders who first encountered it in China. Now we can make it ourselves, but the fascination remains. Just look at a porcelain tile's smooth glaze or a translucent china cup, and you appreciate the almost magical transformation that fire can do to earth. Ceramics aren't just for pretty things, they are workhorses of construction. Tiles that cover bathroom walls or floors are ceramics, usually glazed to add color and waterproofing. Your kitchen likely has ceramic tiles or at least a ceramic coating on something. And consider the sanitary ware: sinks, toilets. They're vitreous china, a type of porcelain built to take daily use and still scrub clean. Ceramics also allow for creativity in architecture. Colorful glazed tiles have adorned buildings from Persian domes to Spanish kitchens, showing that materials can be both structural and decorative. Because we can mold clay into any shape and then harden it, ceramics offer versatility that natural stone can't always match. Intricate lattice screens, curved roof tiles, detailed mosaic pieces, all possible because clay can be shaped like dough before it's fixed in stone-like solidity. One could say ceramics are mankind's way of making our own stone. We couldn't shape granite or marble into a thin coffee cup or a pipe for plumbing, but we can do that with fired clay. This partnership between earth and human hands gave rise to everything from drainage systems to high art. And at the foundation of cities, quite literally, is one particular ceramic form that changed the world: the brick. If stones were the bones of ancient monuments, bricks have been the DNA of everyday cities. A brick might seem humble, just a rectangular block of fired clay, but it's one of the most important inventions in construction. For millennia, bricks have been made by mixing clay or mud, forming it into blocks, and baking them until they harden like little rocks. The oldest discovered bricks, dating back to around 7500 BC, were simply sun-dried mud bricks. Imagine leaving mud pies in the sun to dry. And some of those early bricks have survived to this day. Fired bricks, baked in kilns, came later and proved even stronger and more water-resistant, meaning structures could rise higher and last longer. What makes bricks so special? Consistency and convenience. Unlike natural stone, which comes in all sorts of sizes and must be laboriously chiseled, bricks are manufactured to be uniform. This means each brick fits nicely with the next, like building blocks. The Lego, trademark of the ancient world, you might say. Because they're small and regular, one person can handle them, and brick walls can have relatively thin mortar joints. A well-laid brick wall distributes weight evenly and can be built into arches, columns, and complex patterns. Take a stroll in an old city and you might notice different brickwork patterns, like the elegant herringbone or the sturdy English bond. That's builders playing with those little rectangular units to achieve both strength and style. Bricks are typically made from clay, which might be mixed with sand or other additives, then molded. When fired at high temperature, the clay particles fuse in a process called sintering, turning the brick rock solid. The firing also gives bricks their color: yellowish, red, or brown, depending on the minerals in the clay and the temperature. For instance, bricks in London are famously yellow, London stock bricks, due to the local clay's lime and iron content. In contrast, many bricks in the US Midwest are deep red, rich in iron oxide that reddens in the kiln. Besides the classic clay brick, modern times have introduced variations. Engineering bricks that are fired at even higher temperatures to make them extremely strong and water-resistant, great for foundations, or hollow bricks to reduce weight and improve insulation. But some of the most interesting innovations in brick aren't about firing at all. They're about chemistry. That brings us to an unusual member of the brick family, the calcium silicate brick. Calcium silicate bricks, also known as sand-lime bricks, are what happens when you take brick making out of the fire and into the science lab. Imagine making a brick not by baking it, but by pressure cooking it. That's essentially the process here. A sand-lime brick is made from a mixture of about 90% sand and 10% lime, calcium oxide, plus a bit of water, which is then pressed into a mold under high pressure and cured with steam in an autoclave, a high-pressure steam chamber. Instead of clay binding by heat, here lime reacts with silica in the sand to form calcium silicate, a hard, stable binder, all at lower temperatures but higher pressures. It's a bit like cooking bricks in a giant pressure cooker until the ingredients crystallize together. The result is a brick that is extremely uniform and precise in shape. Sand-lime bricks come out with sharp edges and smooth faces that need little trimming. They're usually white or grayish in color, since there's no red iron-rich clay unless pigments are added. If you see very crisp, pale bricks in a building, especially in parts of Northern Europe or the US, there's a chance they are calcium silicate bricks. These bricks are known to be strong, dense, and visually appealing, making them great for exposed brickwork where you want a clean, modern look. They also have good sound insulation properties due to their density. However, every material has its quirks. Calcium silicate bricks are not very tolerant of long-term water exposure. They can slowly erode or weaken if they stay soaked. That's why builders typically avoid using them for foundations or below-ground work where they'd be sitting in water or heavy wet soil. Traditional clay bricks, especially engineering bricks, tend to handle water better in those situations. It's a trade-off. The sand-lime brick gives you precision and surface beauty, but you give up a bit of water resistance. Historically, sand-lime bricks gained popularity in regions where clay for traditional bricks was scarce, but sand was abundant. They were first made in Germany in the 19th century, and by the early 20th century, factories in the United States and elsewhere were producing them. If you ever travel through parts of Scandinavia or Russia, you might notice a lot of buildings from the mid-20th century with very even-looking white bricks. That's the calcium silicate touch. These bricks show how human innovation can tweak an age-old recipe, brickmaking, to use different raw materials and processes to suit local needs or desired properties. From natural stone to fired clay to chemically set bricks, we see an evolution, harnessing nature, then imitating and improving on it. But the story doesn't end with building walls and floors. In fact, some of the most exciting developments in materials are happening in the world of specialized ceramics, where we push the boundaries far beyond what traditional construction materials can do. Now we venture into the cutting-edge realm of specialized ceramic materials, the superheroes of the material world. These are ceramics engineered not just for buildings, but for tasks that boggle the mind. They might line the inside of a steel mill's furnace, form the critical components of an airplane engine, or even shield a spacecraft during the fiery heat of re-entry. It's hard to believe, but the same basic idea of baking minerals that gave us a clay pot is also enabling space travel and advanced technology. One big category here is refractory ceramics, materials that can withstand ridiculously high temperatures without melting or breaking down. Imagine the inside of a blast furnace at a steelworks, glowing at over 1500 degrees Celsius, containing molten metal. The bricks lining that furnace aren't ordinary bricks. They're special ceramics like alumina, aluminum oxide, or magnesia, magnesium oxide, that can take the heat. These fire bricks or refractory bricks often contain alumina, silica, or magnesia compounds tailored for different molten metals. For example, a high alumina brick might be used where strength and heat resistance are needed, while magnesia bricks handle environments that are chemically basic. Science hint: in a basic slag environment, a silica brick would corrode, but a magnesia brick thrives. Without these advanced bricks, modern metal production would literally melt the factories. But specialized ceramics aren't just about handling heat. Some are about resisting wear, providing electrical insulation, or incredible hardness. Ever heard of a ceramic knife? Unlike your steel kitchen knife, a ceramic knife, often made of zirconia, stays sharp much longer because it's ultra hard, harder than steel. The downside is, it's brittle. Drop that ceramic knife and it may chip or snap, highlighting a common trade-off in materials: hardness versus toughness. Perhaps the most awe-inspiring use of ceramics was on NASA's space shuttles. The black and white tiles that covered the shuttle's belly and sides were made of a silica ceramic material that's 99.8% pure sand in composition. Why sand? Because silica is a superb insulator. It conducts heat so slowly that one could heat one side of a silica tile to red hot and still hold the other side in bare hands for a few moments. Each shuttle was covered in over 20,000 lightweight ceramic tiles. During re-entry, when the surface of the shuttle could reach 1,600 degrees Celsius, These tiles protected the spacecraft and crew by dissipating and blocking the heat. It's poetic, in a way, that one of humanity's highest tech endeavors relied on glorified sand blocks to survive, a tribute to how fundamental and versatile ceramic materials can be. In our daily lives, we also encounter specialized ceramics, often without realizing it. The spark plug in your car has a tough little alumina ceramic insulator that handles high voltages and heat. Many electronic components use ceramics. For example, ceramic capacitors are tiny devices storing charge in everything from your smartphone to your laptop. They use materials like barium titanate, engineered to have particular electrical properties. Semiconductors, the brains of electronics, often involve ceramic processes or substrates. The silicon wafers themselves aren't metals. Silicon is a metalloid that behaves in between, and silicon chips are created in part through high-temperature processing akin to ceramics. And if you have a fancy watch or a high-end kitchen cooktop, you might be enjoying zirconia, a scratch-proof white ceramic that can mimic diamond, or glass ceramic, like the smooth top of an induction stove that can take rapid heating and cooling. What's truly exciting is that advanced ceramics are continually evolving. Scientists are now crafting ceramics that are tougher to overcome that brittleness, or that have novel functions, like ceramics that can bend a little, or that are superconductors carrying electricity with zero resistance, or bioceramics that can bond with bones for medical implants. These materials each have their own recipe, mixing oxides, carbides, nitrides, and more in precise ways. For instance, silicon carbide and boron carbide are used for body armor plates because they are extremely hard enough to shatter incoming bullets, thereby protecting the wearer. It's the same principle as medieval armor, but using ceramics that are lighter than steel for the same protection. We've come a long way from mud bricks. As we end our journey through the world of construction and advanced materials, take a moment to appreciate the spectrum we've covered. We began with stone, raw and natural, formed by Earth's deep processes. We saw how humans learned to shape their own stones through ceramics, bricks, and tiles, literally building the foundations of civilization. Then we leaped into the future with specialized ceramic materials that enable technologies of tomorrow. It's all connected by a simple idea. Start with what the earth gives, stone, clay, minerals, then use creativity and knowledge to turn it into something new and useful. Have you ever noticed how the story of civilization is written in its materials? The next time you touch a cool granite countertop, walk on a brick sidewalk, or even hold a ceramic coffee mug, remember, you're holding the outcome of an incredible journey of science, art, and history. From the stones beneath ancient temples to the ceramic shield of a spacecraft, our mastery of materials has truly shaped our world. And as new materials emerge, who knows what incredible structures and tools future generations will create? It certainly gives you a new perspective on the simple act of picking up a rock, doesn't it?